No upload yesterday. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been engaging with some black pill content on the internet post quitting my job. I quit my job. I went to college and I was making like 16 bucks an hour at this job. In California, they take a large percentage of your income through taxes as well. So whenever all was said and done, I was taking about $13 home an hour with a degree. It's in journalism, thus why I have such slim pickings for prospects for careers to start and why I'm doing this. Not like out of necessity, just because I have the skill set for it. I went to school for journalism. I want to journalistically cover mixed martial arts. Okay, so I quit this job, right? I quit this job. And I noticed that like with the money that I was making, it's enough to save. Granted, I don't have to worry about bills and stuff, but what if I did want to worry about bills? What if I wanted the amenities and properties that come with adulthood that I was promised as a child? I'd never be able to afford them working the jobs that I have had in the past, even in like professional fields. It's pretty crazy. So this is my first stretch of lack of motivation through this period. But if I crash out and I stop doing this, then I stop bearing fruit off of this tree that I need to keep watering. If I stop making content, if I just give up, dude, then like I stop being the greatest MMA YouTuber on YouTube before everyone knows about what we're doing over here. Everyone who's been present, they know, but it's like, my goodness, there's so many things that are stacked against us as Zoomer men. I'm abusing dopamine. It's not even my fault. There's just so much media. There's so many big asses on the internet, you know? It's like, goddamn. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about active brother duos in the UFC. Before we start talking about some brothers, I'm going to talk about a set of siblings. We got notice that Alice Pereira, Alex's little sister, is going to be making her UFC debut. But we already saw one of Alex's sisters, so I was like, hold on now. How is this woman 19 whenever we've been seeing her compete in kickboxing? She might even have MMA fights, but Eileen Pereira on the left, she guaranteed has knockout highlights on footage. Whenever I make cuts, it's because something loud happened. My attention span is cooked from all of the media engagement. So the second that I hear a loud noise happen, like off of my setup, or if the garage door opens or closes or somebody leaves the house or a car starts, I lose my train of thought and I have to completely stop and restart my sentence. So that's the reason why there's cuts in these videos. If you ever wonder why I'm just like talking and then I just fucking new sentence or like I'll do it right now. I don't be scripting any of this, bro. This is off the dome ski. I used to write scripts, but then I found myself looking at just one corner of the screen. You could tell that I was reading. I couldn't do it seamlessly. So now I'm just rapping, man. It doesn't matter. But basically what I'm trying to say is Disney's Brother Bear, the first one, is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire damn life. And if you've ever seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Let's get right into the picks. So the first set of brothers that we're going to be talking about is going to be the Walker brothers, Johnny and Walter. These are half brothers. There's actually an origin story that was shared by Walter himself on the Show Me the Money podcast with Moicano, Gilbert Burns, and then that other betting dude, Matty Betts, I think his name is.
Johnny Walker is your brother for part of your dad or for part of your mom?
Bro, people, I if you want to know the truth, I don't like tell this for almost nobody. But my father, fuck his mom. You know? I don't like tell this for everybody because he here right now.
But yeah, these are the crudes. That's the joke, is that they look like cavemen. And they kind of do. But as things are right now, Walter has Johnny Walker strapped to his back, reminiscent of Chewbacca with C-3PO pictured in the middle of the text there at the bottom of the screen. Walter has a cool heel hook gimmick. Johnny Walker just gets knocked out a bunch. Johnny has a negative chin that's made out of crumble cookies as well, and that's the reason why he's always getting chinned. Johnny has the opportunity to have a career resurgence as well, because for whatever reason, granted he's only on a 2-loss streak, his last win was over Anthony Smith in 2023, but he still gets big opportunities to get knocked out by upcoming prospects or contenders who have been in the rankings for a little bit. If you wanted my honest opinion, I think that Johnny Walker would benefit the UFC and MMA best as a heavyweight. He would be able to give us great knockouts in that division, where he'd be inherently better than a lot of just the fat people that he would be fighting. I don't know why he hasn't decided to move up to heavyweight yet. It could be because his brother is there, but they wouldn't fight each other. That would be so immoral if the UFC matchmakers didn't care if people were related and they were just like, yeah, let's just have these two fight each other. They wouldn't even do it. But if they did, they would... No. So they could both be heavyweights. And Walter, he's revitalizing the heavyweight division on this streak where he's just snatching everyone's ankle. Johnny Walker has stimulated 205 by letting people chin him for years now. He could be notching his own knockouts at 265. Because I really do think that he would be one of the better heavyweights if he did move up. We've seen Vitor Petrino. If you're a losing 205er, if you go up to heavyweight, you know how to grapple. You have speed over these people. And you have a decent frame that you just needed to pack on a bit of mass to, you're going to be dominant. And Walter Walker is proof of this, that heavyweights can't grapple, with the way that he's just taking all of their legs. And Tom Aspinall, one of his only MMA career losses is going to be to a heel hook. So he could very well become a champion with this. I called it a gimmick before, but it's actually a viable strategy to win fights at heavyweight, because it involves grappling, and these dudes can't grapple. These two are going to be our first entry, Walter and Johnny. Next, we have the Topuria brothers, Alexander and Ilya. Who is more representative of the two brothers? If we discussed before that it was Walter and the Walker duo, it's going to be Ilya for this one, but it's not without its flowers given to Alexander, because these two are like the fighter coach equivalent of Gucci Mane and Zaytoven. And all of his victories, you see the corner cam from Ilya's corner, and it's just Alexander right there telling Ilya Topuria how to win the fight and giving him the vision to enact his own plan that he sees while he's in there fighting. This 3-fight run that Ilya has been on, Alexander has been instrumental to it with his coaching and corner work and support of Ilya Topuria through these different things. Alexander, as a fighter himself, he's enough like Ilya to put on fun fights. 2 divisions separate the brothers. Alexander was a 135er while Ilya Topuria was still a featherweight, and now that Ilya Topuria is a 155er, Alexander could go to featherweight or he could stay at 135. I'm not sure what he'll do. He may just coach Ilya and they'll just win all of his belts together. It's special that Alexander is Ilya's blood brother and that he's been directly contributing to the accomplishments of Ilya that have led him to secure the #1 pound-for-pound ranking. Ilya is also looking out for Alexander too by supporting him and cornering him and being his coach whenever they're fighting. And he's also platforming him as well. He's winning the belts. They're going backstage together. He's putting the belts on his brother. They're taking photos together. He's not concealing the fact that he has a relative to the media. As a fighter, Alexander is always going to have expectations from fans to be like Ilya, but he doesn't really have anything to prove as Ilya Topuria's key to victory in the corner. Next are the Tafas brothers. We have Justin and Junior. Heavyweight inflation is at work here, and the reason why these guys are getting priced out of the entire division. These guys are like Tuivasas or Derek Lewis's from Wish, but they could have still worked at a point where mid-ranked contenders were Austin Lane. You know, Justin Tafa was out here spilling Austin Lane. In 2023, the Tafas were actually quite formidable in this division. Heavyweight fighters, even 2 years ago, while Tom Aspinall was still on the rise, and 2-3 years ago, the average heavyweight, they just were going to stand and they were going to swing until you knocked them out or they knocked you out. And there was no possibility that they may wrestle. If you were a Tafa and you were fighting 2022, 2023 heavyweight in the Apex, there was such a high likelihood that you would score a knockout because they would just stand there and allow you to knock them out. This new class of heavyweight, like Waldo Cortez Acosta or Walter Walker or Mario Pinto, they're not just going to stand there, just let you hit them. If they're going to get hit, they're going to take the damage and they're going to do their chicken dance or wobble, and then they're going to get into the wrestling. They're going to take you down. And if they're fighting with guys who are imposing freaks as well, like this Taliesin Teixeira character who we just saw get sparked out by Derek Lewis, they're going to lose themselves. And that's just because they look 2 to 4 times scarier than they truly are. And I'm grateful for the fact that these dudes have knocked out people in the past, and they still can knock people out. But if it is a modern heavyweight who knows that he's not in there just to either kill or be killed on the feet, and that there is the wrestling or jiu-jitsu option open to him at any moment because the guy that he's fighting probably doesn't have an answer for it, they're likely going to lose all of those matchups. As a set of brothers, I can't even distinguish them most of the time. I don't think that they're twins. I can't set apart one's accomplishments from the other ones, except for Junior Tafa getting caught in that heel hook by Walter Walker. And that was one of the first times that it had happened too. So I was very impressed by this performance out of Walter Walker, and I didn't think that he'd replicate it another time or two more times. The Usman brothers are the next duo that I'm going to mention right now. This is Kamaru and Muhammad. There's a massive skill deficit here that never gets addressed, and that's just because his brother is one of the greatest champions ever. Kamaru Usman probably beats up Mo on the mats. Imagine it, whenever they wrestle, this dude is just getting ankle picked. That'd be a shame, because whenever I was introduced to Mo Usman, I curtailed my expectations for how skilled he would be because he is a heavyweight and Kamaru is a welterweight. I didn't think he would be so ass. Kamaru Usman needs no introduction. I was going to put the photo of him KO'd and him looking like this and staring up, but that's just respect my brother. No. But Mo Usman is like Dontel Mays with a cooler older brother. And I did some more research into the topology of Mo Usman. They fought in Victory FC, and that boy Dontel Mays beat Mo Usman via decision. We got one of the greatest welterweights of all time, like second to GSP very likely. And then a dude who's getting walk-off decisioned by Mick Parkin and also Dontel Mays. The last brother duo that we're going to get into before ranking them is going to be the Bonfim brothers, Ishmael and Gabriel. These are gatekeeper cans. Each are very finishable fighters as well. They're not respected. Each have bad losses and very few good wins. Gabriel has lost to Nicholas Dalby. Very close fights with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. People want to see him get stoned to death for the fact that he won this fight. Ishmael just got sauced on by Nazim Sadikov. He has a good win against Terrence McKinney, but it was while Terrence McKinney was on a loss streak, and so I'm not sure if we can. I like Terrence McKinney, so I'm gonna cope every single time. You better believe it. But yeah, Vince Pichel. This dude is like 58 years old, and this dude Vince Pichel actually had a close fight that went to decision with Ishmael Bonfim, and this was right before he got scrubbed out by Nazim Sadikov. Just evaluating the way that the UFC likes to schedule fighters who have narrowly won decisions in their last fight, there's a good chance that our boy Gabriel is getting scrubbed out very soon. So do not fret, my friends, if you want to see Wonderboy be avenged. Some guy has his reboot card already, and he's about to hit the van very soon. So now we're going to rank all of the different brubbers that we mentioned. That's the Bryce Mitchell pronunciation there. I think it's safe to say that the Topurias are definitely in the lead. It's a lopsided duo, but they work together as a team, as cornermen for each other. And Alexander really does matter as far as whenever Ilia Topuria fights, you probably couldn't do the same things that he does. It's kind of on the equivalent level of having Khabib in your corner for Alexander to be there for Ilia. They just have that special connection because they are brothers. They know what they're thinking about, and they can speak to each other on a level that we just don't get. The next are the Usmans, Kamaru and his brother. Kamaru Usman has done a majority of the work in furthering their family's last name, but Mo Usman is there to give us funny highlight performances, like against Hamdi Abdelwahab, where he was doing funny dances in the octagon after getting leg kicked. He makes his contributions where he can, and we enjoy his fights too. Number 3 is going to be the Walkers. They could have potentially been higher on this list. It's just that Johnny isn't winning. But if he does win, if he wins against Mi Ying Zhang, this is going to be one of the greatest comeback stories ever. And if Walter is there, which I know he's going to be, or I hope he is at least, this is going to be one of the greatest brother moments in the UFC ever. Imagine if Johnny beats Mi Ying Zhang by heel hook. This is what this is all leading up to, is that it just becomes their family monopolization over the heel hook technique, and they each become title challengers. Very possible, don't sleep on it. Number 4 is the Tafas, Justin and Junior. Junior tried to salvage his career at 205, and it just didn't work. I don't really know where either of them go from here. Justin Tafa looks horrible now that Taliesin Teixeira lost the way that he did. because a win over Justin Tafas was the only thing that justified him main eventing the last card that we all watched. Number 5 is the Bonfims. Gabriel Bonfim, Ishmael Bonfim. And what are we even doing here, man? See, guys, text your brother. If you are a brother, I'm a brother. I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to text my brother. I'm going to tell him I love him. I think you should do the same thing. Make sure that your relationships are good and that your family bonds where you have them are being well maintained. Make sure that there's people in your life that you can speak to. I'm getting into the weeds, man. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I need to get off of my phone. It's kind of the whole point. I've been thinking about doing like a dopamine detox, like no substances, no media, which will be hard, granted I do this, but no choking the chicken. It's crazy, man. And things that we deal with as Zoomer men. I know I was looking at my demographics the other day. It's like a third of you guys are Zoomer men. And then some of you guys are 40. And other of you fall into that like 25, 30 age range. But to be a young man in 2025 is so nutty. You're tempted by so many different things. You're tempted by comfortability, like most of all. And it's so crazy how I cannot go outside and I can just live rent-free in my daddy's house and I can just be comfortable not doing fucking anything and wasting my life every day. And there's a problem with that. There's a problem with it. And I felt the need for this journey of self-improvement and to take it on for like a little bit. I just don't know what the process looks like. It's a lifelong process, and I made strides towards it already. I definitely know that I'm in the right thing and I'm doing the right stuff whenever I'm making YouTube content, because I just don't know what I'd be doing if I didn't do this. Because working is so cooked. Working is so cooked. And like, I'm going to get another job. I have to. But I really do just hope it's higher paying. And if it is higher paying, even if I'm making $10 more an hour than I was making before my other job, how do I buy anything like valuable? How do I support a loving relationship with a woman and a home for all of us to live in and have children inside of? And it's like, damn. Whenever you're working these stupid jobs that suck, you can sit in like your driveway as a dude who has the ability to provide these types of things for a family, and you can wait for your kids to run up to the car and open the door and be like, I love you, dad, and they'll like hug your legs and shit. But it's like me, bro. I'm 22. I'm out of school. There's no communities. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do except for turn on the fucking webcam on OBS and start talking about UFC fights, bro? Whenever you don't got nobody. And I mean, I'm speaking like, I live with people. It's not like I'm just completely alone. But it's like, I've effectively isolated myself. And it's not really my fault. And as far as like degrees of isolation, where it goes, and I can't say it's not my fault. Saying it's not my fault is a cope. It is my fault. Things in place, it doesn't make it any easier on fucking Zoomers like me, man. Man, you know what I'm talking about. If like you're watching this video and like you resonate with anything that I've been saying, I need to cut this shit off. So please do like, comment, and subscribe if you made it to this point in the video. I love all of you guys so much. Like, actually, thank you for interacting with this stuff and giving me this platform. Keep an eye out for the UFC 318 predictions. Those are going to be coming up soon. I really just needed to get on here and rap, dude. Like, I went to college in a city that's like 2 hours away from here, so all my friends, like, we don't even talk anymore, bro. And I never made friends out here because my high school was also like 30 minutes away. So I've just drifted apart from everyone. It's just me on this island. I go to sleep with a thigh pad.